Well, live from Moore Gymnasium on the campus of Bethune-Cookman University in beautiful downtown Daytona Beach, Florida. It's time for Bethune-Cookman University basketball on the CatEye Network. Bethune-Cookman women's basketball ends this weekend's homestand with a game against the Alcorn State Braves, still looking to find some identity and recover from some injury bugs. My name is Michael Truvillo. Happy to have your company. Happy also to have the company of Henson White. Henson, last time out against Jackson State, the Wildcats tried to find themselves, but really only found the large defense of Jackson State. Today, another good defensive team comes to town when the Wildcats still shorthanded.
Yeah, the Jackson State game, you know, the less said, the better for the Wildcats. The injury bug, as you said, is really damaging this team's chances. All right, a lot of it, we have already down to an 8-women rotation pregame. And obviously the defense of Alcorn State may not be as good as the Jackson State defense. And offensively, they're not as consistent or as sturdy, rather, but it's still a marketable improvement. It's something that they're going to have to work against.
This Alcorn State team, 4-13, 2-3 in conference play. Their last conference win was against Texas Southern back on the 20th. They're one of the better rebounding teams in the SWAC as we send you down courtside for the national anthem.
Bethune-Cookman Wildcats. At this time, we ask that everyone in attendance please rise. Gentlemen, please not be relieving your caps, while veterans you may cover, as we honor this great nation with the playing of the national anthem.
As they roll through pregame introductions on the court, it's time to roll in to our Southeast Toyota dealers' keys to the game. And if you were with us on Saturday night, Henson, the key to the game for the Wildcats isn't much different.
Yep. The Wildcats' key to the game is what shape will this team be in due to the injuries to key players. We're talking about Kayla Clark, Damani Dorsey, the list goes on. And can some of the freshmen that are going to be called upon at this point, can they perform? And the Alcorn State Braves' key to the game will be to take advantage of the height disadvantage that the Wildcats have. Your only tall player is Chanel McDonald, who's the only true center this team has, and do a good job of rebounding the glass. They have some top 10 rebounders in the SWAC on this Alcorn State team, and they'll look to push their dominance on the boards.
And Bethune-Cookman, as you mentioned, without Kayla Clark, the top rebounder in the SWAC, without Chanel Wilson, their top scorer, without Damani Dorsey, who injured her knee against Jackson State, they do get Deshante Edwards back, who was injured against Jackson State and was kept out of the second half of that game as a precaution. But again, and then the long-term injuries of Nia Jordan, Kamara Langston continue. So we're down to an 8-woman rotation today. Expect to see freshman Chariot Johnson and maybe freshman Gabriella Stevens as well factor in today. This is a game that the Wildcats expected to win coming into the weekend and probably still do expect to be favored in even with all the injuries, but it's going to be up to players like Kayla White, like Kariana Woods, like Omariah Tucker to step up off the bench.
Yeah, Chanel McDonald's been excellent all throughout the season, throughout the ups and downs. So I'm not worried about her per se. She needs her supporting cast at this point to help her out. I'm talking about DeShante Edwards. I'm talking about Tucker. I'm talking about even Kerrigan Dunn to a degree. Kayla Clark, not Kayla Clark, obviously, but bench players to help her out.
Even in the loss to Jackson State, Chanel McDonald was still fantastic. 20 points in 19 minutes. She's going to have a performance like that again today. And we're going to have some of the depth pieces step up for the Wildcats. Here we go. Wildcats in the all-white, trimmed in maroon and gold. It's the purple and gold for Alcorn State, who win the tip. They attack the basket to your left, and we're underway from Coach Cy Court here at Richard B. Moore Gymnasium. Starting lineup for the Wildcats, DeShante Edwards, Omariah Tucker, Chanel McDonald, Kerrigan Dunn. As the top scorer for Alcorn State, Zanaya White goes through and puts in the first bucket of the game. Kerrigan Dunn and Kariana Woods also start for Bethune-Cookman. Kerrigan Dunn averaging just under 10 points per game. There's the mid-range floater. Money again for Chanel McDonald, as she often does.
Yeah, that's her range. That's her spot. She loves to shoot from there, and she'll look to keep it going in this game.
Cheatham, White, Wright, McAlphia, and Brown start for Alcorn. There's a steal, short on the layup, offensive rebound. Second attempt, no good. Third attempt, a foul. So the Wildcats attacking the offensive glass early. That's good for a team that is third in the conference in offensive rebounds per game at 15.3. But their top offensive rebounder in Kayla Clark is out, averaging almost 4 rebounds a game before she went down.
Yeah, DeShante Edwards going back up for those second chance opportunities, beating out Chanel McDonald, who has a couple darn near a foot on her. And a great steal by Tucker to get it down the court. Missed the layup, but DeShante Edwards did a good job to recover.
And the Wildcats probably going to have to force a fair number of steals today if they want to remain in this game. Unfortunately, Edwards misses both free throws. 40 steals for DeShante Edwards, 43 for Kerrigan Dunn, both of them on the floor right now. Those are season numbers. As this is Destiny Brown, the 6'3" junior. Whistle and a hand check foul called against Bethune-Cookman. And we saw in the Jackson State game on Saturday that there were a lot of ticky-tack fouls called, reach-ins, body blocks, moving screens, and a lot of offensive fouls as well.
The refs in that game were not playing around. They were calling everything and anything they saw. And Chanel McDonald books an early foul here, and that's not what you want to see. She did that against Jackson State. She got in early foul trouble and played well in limited minutes.
They try to flash through the lane and almost turn the ball over. 2 to shoot into the corner, and it's a shot clock violation. Great job by the VCU defense to switch on every interaction.
Yep, and that's also good scouting. This Alcorn State team is not the best at three-point shooting. The last shooting percentage in the conference, shooting around 20% from beyond the arc.
Wildcats, not a great three-point shooting team. They shoot 27% from deep. And an offensive 3-second violation against Chanel McDonald. Not the start to the game that she was hoping for.
Made a shot, hand-checking foul, and then a 3-second. First 3-second we've seen in here in a while.
Can't camp down in that restricted area. In traffic at the free throw line. Player is tied up, and it'll be ball back to the Wildcats on the alternating possession. Chanel McDonald pulls up from mid-range again, misses it left. Rebound to Tajane Wright. Long stretch pass ahead. And a kick to the corner for three from Cheatham. Off the front rim, no good. And then a foul in transition against Cheatham as he tried to strip the ball from Deshante Edwards.
Yeah, just try to be a little bit too aggressive there, trying to get that steal. Doesn't get it, gets the reach in.
Sparse crowd here at Moore Gymnasium. It is earlier than our normal women's tip-off. It's a 5 p.m. tip-off Eastern time. Thank you for those of you joining us from farther afield on the CatEye Network as it travels. So both teams have a case of the turnovers early on.
No one really wants to keep possession to start this game out.
Yeah.
Only 2 points scored for both teams.
And we saw in the game on Saturday, Hanson, the Wildcats, even when they had scoring runs, they never really got into an offensive rhythm because of the kind of cobbled together nature of these starting fives. There's a nice backdoor pass. Dunn has her shot swatted away. That was Kiara Henderson with the block. Tajane Wright. Here's White, hits the mid-range jumper, and it's 4-2. Zaniah White averaging 12.5 points per game. And the reigning SWAC Freshman of the Year from 2 years ago. Kick to the corner for three. Dunn doesn't take it. She hands it back to Woods. And the ball is knocked out of bounds by Nia McAlfia. First substitution of the game for the Wildcats. Expect to see a lot of those with down to just an 8-woman rotation, trying to keep some legs fresh. And Alcorn State will rotate a lot as well. Nobody on the team averaging more than 30 minutes per game. White replaces Kerrigan Dunn. McDonald in the post. Step back jumper off the back iron, no good. And it's out of bounds ball to Alcorn State, last touch by Edwards.
Deshante Edwards tried to almost go into the locker room on that possession, but just couldn't keep the ball in.
And it's important for BCU to try and find some scoring form early, even though Alcorn State doesn't score a lot of points. You don't want to find yourself in a situation where you're chasing the game, especially with your top two scorers out. Alcorn State turns the ball over. Kayla White with the steal. She goes coast to coast and hits the floater.
Tough shot. Nice floater.
And those are the kind of buckets the Wildcats are going to have in this one. As almost another steal as Wright wasn't paying attention. Zaniah White traveled with the basketball as he tried to do the step back move.
Yeah.
Can't move that pivot foot. And already up to 5 turnovers for Alcorn State, a team that turns the ball over 18.6 times a game. That's still 6th in the SWAC. The SWAC has a turnover problem. Most of the teams, especially on the women's side, turn the ball over 20-plus times a game.
Yeah.
Edwards flashing through, switches hands in midair and rolls it in off the fingertips.
Tough shot there. Nice move. Deshante Edwards loves attacking the basket. Something we're going to see her do probably often throughout this game, especially if the Wildcats want to succeed.
She's one of the shorter players on the floor. We saw that against Jackson State, and she relentlessly attacks the paint, and sometimes to her detriment, as Nia McAlfia steps on the out-of-bounds line, and it's a 7th Alcorn State turnover in the first quarter.
7 turnovers just to the 1 Wildcat turnover. Currently, they have more turnovers than points.
Wildcats force 20 turnovers a game. That's second of the SWAC. Nobody was open for Deshante Edwards, so she just takes a long 2 and misses. Wildcats will try and play some press in the half court. Cheatham drives, is fouled by the leg of Kerrigan Dunn. Correction, they'll get Woods for the foul as we hit the first media timeout. Alcorn State will go to the line to try and tie this one up. Southeast Toyota Dealers is a proud supporter of Bethune-Cookman University basketball. Visit your local Toyota dealer or explore Toyota.com today and take advantage of the deal to their full line of vehicles. And the National Signing Day show is quickly approaching, and head football coach Raymond Woody and his staff have been hard at work recruiting the best talent in the nation. Come be a part of Bethune-Cookman football's live National Signing Day show on Wednesday, February 7th, as we announce a new breed of Wildcats. I will join Coach Woody live at youtube.com/CatEye Network to recap an exciting offseason here at the beach. Full details announced next week, so stay tuned. So 6-4 early on for the Wildcats. You got to think it could have been more with the 7 Alcorn State turnovers so far, Henson.
Yeah, 7 turnovers. Both teams have less points than Alcorn State has turnovers, which is indicative to how tough Alcorn State is on defense. But we have seen blown layups. Harken back to that Tucker missed layup and then second chance opportunity for Bashante Edwards going to the line and then missing those free throws. So that was a 4 chances to score on that possession and none happened. You can't do that if you want to win this game.
And the Wildcats have had 10 shots. They've only hit 3 of them. And Alcorn State has only had 3 shots and they've hit 2 of them. So for a team that doesn't hit a lot of their shots, just 34% from the field on the season, good efficiency for Alcorn starting out. It's something the Wildcats are going to have to clean up on their end. But it's important to mention that early on, the Wildcats have gone back to their kind of bread and butter offense. Chanel McDonald in the post, pulling up for mid-range shots, kicking it out for some longer shots, and Bashante Edwards driving the lane, trying to make something happen that way.
Yeah, we're used to Chanel McDonald hitting those shots that she missed in those earlier possessions. So as long as she can get back on course towards her averages, we'll be seeing a better performance out of her.
Nakia Cheatham misses the first one. She's a 57% free throw shooter on the season, but the best three-point shooter on the team at 33.3%.
That's not business as usual. Usually your three-point shooter is one of your better players from the line, but
Kariana Woods, the sophomore from Ann Arbor, Michigan, controls the play. McDonald down low. She's double teamed and coughs up the ball. Wright off to White. Under the basket, kicks it to the corner. They go around the horn, back to Tajane Wright. And a 3 from straight on is good for Nia McAlfia. Only her 4th three-point make of the season.
That was a really well-worked possession from both teams. And sometimes good offense just beats good defense. You can't, if they can keep that passing going, it is going to be near impossible to switch every single time.
Amaria Tucker tried to throw it to Chanel McDonald. The taller Destiny Brown says, get that out of here. Brown, the best field goal percentage shooter that the Braves have at 45%.
And the freshman comes on the court early in this first quarter. Usually we, see them towards the tail end of maybe the second or late in the fourth or something of that nature, but
as Chariot Johnson, Tucker pulls up from mid-range and misses it. The Wildcats continue to be cold to start this game, just 3 of 11 from the floor. And Chariot Johnson on the floor with only an 8-woman rotation. You got to figure that she will be a big part of it today, because without her and Gabriella Stevens, it's just 6 eligible Wildcats. Nobody boxed out for the Cats, and an offensive rebound for Alcorn. Wildcats wanted to travel against Cheatham, but the offensive possession continues for the Braves with 8 to shoot. McAlfia. It's a long 2, and it's good for Destiny Brown. Red hot to start the game for Alcorn State.
An extremely tough shot there. Chanel McDonald all in her face, only had around 2 seconds on the shot clock, just had to put that up there and makes it.
They try to go down low again, and this time a reach-in foul called against Destiny Brown. Brown, the junior from Los Angeles, Nevada, and a transfer from Southern Nevada University.
And yes, you are hearing that right, Los Angeles, Nevada, not California.
Nice job by McDonald, gets her defender in the air, but the layup hangs on the rim and falls out. 4-point lead for the Braves and a chance to make it more. High post for Destiny Brown to the flashing White. She got her shot blocked by Chariot Johnson. And then a tie-up underneath. Possession arrow favors Alcorn.
And slowly, Alcorn looks to try to push the pace and take advantage of poor shooting from the Wildcats to pull out to a possible 6-7 multi-possession lead.
Yeah. Ooh, a couple of players hit the deck, no whistle. And a traveling violation against Nakia Cheatham. That was an awkward possession.
No one, even the refs kind of look confused. No one gets a call in their favor there. I guess refs probably are saying both people were at fault for that. It ends up being a travel anyway.
The Wildcats are, it's not like they're not getting shots that they want, as down the lane and getting fouled goes Cariana Woods. She's fouled by her opposite number, Nia McAlfia. And again, it's not like the Wildcats aren't getting shots that they like or that they want. It's just they haven't been knocking them down.
Yeah, not consistently anyway to start this game out, and that's, you know, not what you necessarily would want to see out of them. I mean, you got to take advantage of what you're being given. Chanel McDonald 1 for 4 currently. You know, she's hitting her shots, but has been defended very well by this Alcorn State defense, to their credit. But there has been a lot of force feeding of McDonald in the post. We've seen possessions where she is obviously well guarded, and we're still, you know, still trying to get the ball down to her, which is what you want to do, but you need better separation or more space or let the play develop more.
McDonald's now going to come out in favor of Deshante Edwards as the Wildcats go 4 guards and a combo. That combo being Omaria Tucker. First free throw make of the game for the Wildcats comes from Cariana Woods. That breaks a 3-minute and 6-second scoreless streak and a 6-0 run for Alcorn. Not sure what the holdup is. Got some players switching positions on the court.
Refs seem to be having a discussion about something. I think it may be jersey number, because our live stats haven't updated with the players that have been subbed on for Alcorn.
Yeah, it only shows the starting 5 for Alcorn. Also, Zaniyah White, excuse me, is wearing number 23. She is listed on my sheet as number 11. So we may have an administrative technical here if they find something like that has gone on, but.
Because I'm pretty sure I saw number 20 out there.
And no 20 is in our book for Alcorn. We just got it confirmed that there is a 20 on the floor, but no 20 in the book for the Braves. But at the line is Cariana Woods, the sophomore from Ann Arbor. Won a state championship in 2022 with Ann Arbor Prep. Freshman year at BCU, 4.5 points, 1.3 assists, and 2 rebounds per game. And this year has battled in some injuries early on, missed 9 games between the end of non-conference play and the start of conference play. Yeah. And just got her back, last weekend against Pine Bluff.
Bet you she was upset about the NFC Championship game results. Michigan native.
Nike is the official outfitter of the Bethune-Cookman Wildcats. Gear up on the newest BCU Nike gear at nike.com/Bethune-Cookman Wildcats. Make sure you are representing Bethune-Cookman University Athletics to the fullest. Buy the latest BCU gear online at the Bethune-Cookman online store. Go to bcuathletics.com and click on shop to find the newest BCU clothing and apparel. That's bcuathletics.com and click on shop. Well, Henson, it is an exciting day today in Moore Gymnasium because we have ESPN2 in the house for the men's game between Bethune-Cookman and Alcorn. We do have some administrative technical free throws now being shot by Cariana Woods.
Feel really smart being right about that. I saw the numbers not matching up with our sheets, and then our live stats weren't updating, so I think they're going to have to probably took that minute to try to get all the names sorted out. And then the technical free throws interrupted her original free throws, so now she's back to the line with a possible 4-point free throw play here.
The rare 4-point play where it's all free throws. And it's good. And the Wildcats have tied the game on 4 consecutive free throws, and then Cariana Wood's going to go sit on the bench in favor of Kayla White. Not often you see that. As you say, something new every time you get on the air, Henson. You always see it. Now the Wildcats will go full court press. The Braves break it. Long zip pass. Here's Ashanti Bacchus for 3. And the Braves are 2 of 3 from beyond the arc.
Done a really good job to start it out, and it's going to be interesting to see if they keep shooting from there. Percentage-wise, you wouldn't recommend it.
White drives and gets fouled. I think the Wildcats are probably going to have to hit a large majority of their free throws today if they want to stay in this one.
Yep. Especially if they keep playing their bread and butter drive offense, get it to Chanel McDonald in the post, stuff like that. Especially when you don't have your other post presence in Kayla Clark, you really will only have one way to get down low.
Kayla White, who is at the line, is someone, she misses the first 2 free throws, that kind of has taken a step back this year. This is her 3rd year at BCU. She's a junior, averaged 6.5 points, 1.7 assists, 2.3 rebounds, and 1.2 steals over her first 2 seasons here. And she's kind of been out of favor in the rotation because of some of the transfers that the Wildcats brought in the offseason. But now, with players injured, it's maybe a chance for her to get back to some of those numbers that she was putting up last year.
You got to take the opportunities as they're given to you.
And speaking of opportunities, Kayla White, the steal and the score.
And now it's a tie game, 13 points. A little bit of a scoring explosion towards the tail end of this first quarter.
If Kayla White gets 4 more steals today, there will be 3 Wildcats on the season with more than 40 steals. 8 to shoot. It's a free throw line pull-up jumper that's long. Chariot Johnson pulls down the board. She fires a long pass ahead to White. Into the corner, 3 from Dunn. A little bit too strong, and then a foul against Deshante Edwards as he pushed off of White, trying to get that rebound.
Just a little bit too excited there, Deshante Edwards. He ends up getting that foul, and now it's coming out in favor of Chanel McDonald, which is really always a funny thing to see a guard come out for a center.
Well, when you've only got 1 center left on the roster, the center has to come out sometime. And the Wildcats, even though they were playing a 5-guard lineup, looked pretty defensively stout in that last possession.
Even winning rebounds over some of the taller Alcorn State players.
White drives, puts up a tough shot, and scores right over Johnson. 55 seconds to go first quarter, 13-15. Alcorn State on top of Bethune-Cookman. Despite the Wildcats shooting 28% from the floor, they're still just within 2. Chariot Johnson hooping the harm, and the Wildcats bench goes crazy for the true freshman.
And if she has an outstanding performance tonight, that will be important and key in the Wildcats possibly winning this game. Somebody has to make up the scoring gap that your major players getting injured leaves.
And the mindset for Chariot Johnson coming into this game today has to have been, this is my time to show what I've got, right? There is nobody backing you up.
You are now the backup. There isn't even, pretty much you are the main rotational guard piece that we have outside of somebody else who also has to rotate and play shooting guard, small forward.
And she'll play the 3 and sometimes the 4 in sets where Tucker's not on the floor. And we're going to get a blocking foul against Kayla White. Didn't move out of the way. Still no bonus for Alcorn. Next foul they will be shooting with 35 seconds to go in the first quarter. With the Wildcats up 1, trying to keep that lead into the first quarter break. This is Ashanti Bacchus from Little Rock, Arkansas. Hands back to Arine Iacopolor. Off the baseline drive, floater, way too strong, missed everything. 15 seconds to go, Wildcats with a chance to extend the lead before the break. White almost thought about a three, but she goes down low. Chanel McDonald off the underside of the rim. Tucker with the offensive board. She goes to the ground, and it's Wildcat ball out of bounds. 3.1 seconds left in the first quarter.
A good job keeping the possession, even though you couldn't get a shot up. Now you got around 3 seconds. Chanel McDonald did a great job getting to the post.
This should be Chanel McDonald's bag. 2 seconds and one, and at the horn, she got it to go right at the end of the first quarter. The Wildcats lead by 3, despite shooting just 31% from the floor, and as opposed to 60% from Alcorn State. They forced 9 Braves turnovers in the first quarter and have an 18-15 lead after 1. Stay up to date with everything Bethune-Cookman Athletics by checking out the Wildcats on social media. Give BCU Athletics a like on Facebook and check out the Wildcats on Twitter and Instagram at BCU_athletics. For the latest on BCU women's basketball, follow at BCU WBB on Twitter and Instagram. Henson, a bit of a dip in the middle of that first quarter, but the Wildcats have responded well.
Yeah, the offense of the Wildcats has really picked it up. Chanel McDonald does a great job to end that quarter out strong, even though it hasn't been at her best, let's say, in this first quarter. And the main reason that the Wildcats have this lead in the second quarter is because the 8 turnover margin, 8 turnovers in their favor, or 7 rather, 9 for Alcorn State, only 2 for the Wildcats in maroon and gold. And they've done a great job forcing turnover, steals, and traveling. We've seen traveling calls here to start it out. And they got to keep up that defensive pressure. They've done a good job of rotating players out. Everyone's on similar-ish minutes. The only player that's played 10 minutes, or the full 10, was Tucker. Everybody else played a varying amount from 4 to 9.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Tucker and McDonald, if they can stay out of foul trouble, play 35-plus minutes in this ball game. And it's important for the Wildcats to try and go hard and build a lead in this second quarter, because if you start getting gassed and have no rotational pieces off the bench in the fourth quarter, Alcorn State may see that as an opportunity.
Yeah, if you don't have, everyone's going to be tired, especially when you only have 8 women. You're going to have some tired legs out there, and building a gap so that when that eventually happens, that it isn't, the end of the game, and now you're looking at a, foul trouble. Oh my goodness, we're down 3 with X amount of time left. And it's more of a, okay, we have a 10-point lead. Let's slow it down. Let's play our game. Take advantage of the fact that we have a lead. Play it smart to end the game.
Wildcats will, sorry about that.
You're fine, but that will be how the Wildcats will look to end the game.
Wildcats will start with the ball in the second quarter on the alternating possession. There were 2 tie-ups in that first quarter. Cariana Woods with the ball. Chariot Johnson on the floor to start quarter number 2, and she does turn the ball over. Nice dive by White to keep the ball in play for Alcorn. White skips through traffic and is fouled. They're going to get Tucker for her first. And foul trouble is going to be an important thing to manage, not just for the players on the floor, but for Coach Creighton and her staff today.
Yeah. The last thing you want is a player like Chanel McDonald or Shante Edwards getting an early foul trouble. Your catalyst on offense. You need them on the tail end of this game, that third and fourth quarter.
The former SWAC Freshman of the Year, Zaniah White, makes the first of her 2 free throws. Led all of freshmen in scoring with 9 points per game her freshman year. Last year, upped it to 9.7 points. This year, she's leading the team with 12.5. So she has just improved year over year. And the Wildcat lead is down to just 1, as here comes a little bit of a press from Alcorn State. We've seen the Wildcats struggle to advance the ball through the press at times this season. That time pretty efficient. Chariot Johnson draws the contact and will go to the line off of Aike Palor. Please excuse us if we get that one wrong. That one is one of the tougher names in the conference. Irene Aike Palor from Edmonton, Alberta, Canada.
2019 15U Girls National Champion for Canada. And Chariot Johnson, the freshman, does not seem to care about the fact that she's coming in, freshman. We were worried, like, oh, well, how will they adjust? They don't get, they haven't gotten a lot of minutes this season, all of that, yada, yada. And it's coming out and played a really good game to start out.
Yeah, and Chariot Johnson is no stranger to being a volume scorer. She averaged 11.5 points over 2 years at Booker High School down in Sarasota, and no stranger to playing in high-stakes games, as she went to the 4A state semifinals twice in her high school career. .9:22 to go in the first half, just into the second quarter. Wildcats with a 20-17 lead. White to try and erase the lead. No good. And an offensive rebound for the taller Destiny Brown. Another three. Oh, that one took a more bounce and went in off a high arcing bounce off the front of the rim, 20 all.
And that's that height advantage coming into play on that possession.
Edwards at the free throw line, missed everything. McDonald tries to save it and just throws it right to Henderson. And then another steal for Kayla White. It's another steal and score. She's got 6 points, all of them off turnovers.
And she's doing a great job of just being in that passing lane like a hawk, just snatching that ball out of the air, taking it to coast to coast, and doing a great job finishing that shot.
A couple of jab steps by Ashanti Bacchus, the senior out of Little Rock, Arkansas. Another deflected pass, this one by Edwards. White in transition again. This time she'll just go into the corner, set up Woods for three. No good. Offensive reward by McDonald. Tough layup. No. Gets her own miss. Kicks it back up to the top. A couple of Wildcats collide, and they'll reset the possession.
Everybody went back. I don't think they even expected McDonald to win that rebound.
Woods back to Edwards. 7 to shoot. Backdoor pass. McDonald. She is grabbed. Wait to see who the foul is on. It's on Kiara Henderson.
Good job by McDonald trying to get that ball up and just get a shot off or something. Now you get a reset shot clock and some more opportunities. This has been a long possession for the Wildcats.
The Wildcats will take those, especially if they can get some points off the end of it. McDonald going to work. Can't move that pivot foot. She pulls up, hits the heel, and then is outboxed by Nakia Cheatham. And McDonald is really playing 2-on-1 in the post against Brown and Cheatham with no help. It's going to be a long day for Chanel McDonald.
Yeah.
Around the screen, Cheatham spins, steps through, and doesn't score. That time they didn't get the bounce, but it's another offensive rebound. A blown layup by Cheatham, and the ball out of bounds will stay with the Braves.
And everybody kind of collapsed on that, try to get that first rebound, swings out, no one's in the paint anymore, and then a semi-blown layup for Alcorn State, and now a long possession for them.
Tucker checks in for McDonald. Alcorn 1 for 4 in the quarter. Bethune-Cookman 1 for 5. Slow start offensively for both teams. Brown against the smaller White. Layup too strong. The ball pinballs around, eventually grabbed by Tucker. Kayla White kicks it back to Woods. Woods drives, loses the handle, but is fouled. And hands in the air from Alcorn head coach Nate Gilbert, as he didn't agree with the call. Gilbert, former player at Mississippi Valley State, and SWAC champion as a player. And then he spent 12 years as the head coach at Mississippi Valley. Won 2 Coach of the Year awards, then 8 years at UAPB. He's the winningest head coach in their women's program history. And now he's here at Alcorn State in his 4th season.
An outright SWAC legend here in Moore Gymnasium.
And last year, 12 wins for Alcorn State. Edwards gets a shot blocked out of bounds. It's saved by Alcorn State. And then it's Braves ball, last touched by White. And as I mentioned, last year, 12 wins for this program, a high watermark in the Nate Kilburn era.
Actually, Wildcat ball. Ref says my bad out loud and audibly.
So the Wildcats will have a fresh 20.
I appreciate that. I try to make a point of when good refereeing happens. Makes a mistake, doesn't, take too long to fix it or remedy it, admits it's her bad, and then gives the possession rightfully back to the Wildcats here.
The Wildcats have had no love around the rim. Tucker finally gets one to fall.
And that is a lot of love from the rim, rolling around, taking a couple bounces before eventually going down.
Nice move in the open floor by McAlthea. Brown, mid-range jumper, off the front of the iron and kisses it in.
And without McDonald out there, that height difference is really going to start mattering, especially if she starts taking those shots.
Brown 6'3". The Wildcats don't have a player on the floor higher than 5'11", as flashing to the rim is Edwards. Offensive board for Tucker.
Tucker did a great job being on that opportunity.
Three-pointer on the way. Still no good. Wildcats haven't hit a three in the contest. Tucker still battling down low, but Brown grabs the board. Three in transition. Tajane Wright, no good. Ball tapped into the corner, goes off of Brown's foot, and it is Wildcat ball as Destiny Brown takes a tumble towards the staircase.
Almost goes out the exit here in Moore Gymnasium, but she is okay.
One of the downsides of Moore Gym is there is not much area off the playing surface for you to run into.
No. And much of it is not comfortable to run into, so.
Here's a three from the wing. Again, no good. Chariot Johnson taps the board to Tucker. Wildcats 0 for 5 from beyond the arc.
But another offensive rebound to keep these possessions going.
White behind the back. Chariot Johnson for three. No. Johnson now 2 for 8 in limited minutes from three-point range this season. Double team coming back to the ball was, and then the ball's on the floor again, and it's going to be an easy layup.
Almost an easy opportunity for the Wildcats is Brown was actually just visibly not looking for the ball there, but ends up being a turnover of possession, and then the Braves score.
Johnson, step back three again. This time it's nothing but twine. First three of the game for the Wildcats. They were 0 for 5 previously.
Somebody had to break that egg, and Chariot Johnson is doing a great job of picking up some scoring slack.
Could we be seeing a Chariot Johnson breakout game as the Wildcats get another steal? Long two, Kerrigan Dunn, no. And that's what the Wildcats don't want to do. Just chuck up shots early in the shot clock and give Alcorn State a chance to run with it.
Yeah, they've done a great job of crashing the boards, keeping possession, but that time I don't think anybody expected that shot to go up that fast, and no one was in the area.
Zanaya White has the ball kick off her foot and out of bounds for the 13th Alcorn State turnover as we hit the second quarter. Media timeout, Wildcats by 3, 27-24. Don't miss a minute of Wildcat basketball this season. Get your tickets to see Bethune-Cookman basketball live at Moore Gymnasium starting at just $15. Get your tickets today at the VCU box office or online at Ticketmaster.com. And the spring season is nearly here, and BCU baseball and softball are ready to hit the field in the hunt for their first SWAC championship. Spring schedules are available now at BCUathletics.com, and baseball ticket information will be posted soon, so stay tuned. Well, if you've noticed some new scaffolding, some different cameras, a lot of extra staff in here today, it's because ESPN2 is showing the men's game tonight with a later start time at 9 p.m. So if you were wanting to hear Henson and I over BCU basketball again tonight, well, you're out of luck, but you will get ESPN national television, some promotion national TV time for the Wildcats tonight.
Yeah, we didn't get a budget raise overnight. Yeah, ESPN2's in here, and they'll look to do a great job broadcasting this Wildcats men's team that's done a really good job, especially in here in Moore Gymnasium. I don't think they've lost a game in here, have
They've lost one game all year in
One
this
game
gym.
against Grambling.
Yeah.
Otherwise, done a great job.
But it should be a great atmosphere, a packed-out Moore Gymnasium, and a great showcase for not only Bethune-Cookman, but HBCU basketball tonight on a national stage.
The SWAC will look to have a great matchup there. But as we come back, Chariot Johnson is leading the team and is second in the entire game in scoring currently with 8 points.
Including 3 for 3 from the free throw line. Pass to Tucker. She throws it off the window. It's an offensive foul as she clattered into Destiny Brown. Correction, McAlfia took that charge. Either way, it's the second foul on Amaria Tucker.
And now you're going to maybe see, thankfully it's later in the second quarter, so she might not play much in that to start out the third with those 2 fouls.
That'll be the first player on the Wildcats to get to more than 1 foul. 3 off the heel. Battle for the rebound won by Alcorn. Floater no good from Arine. And then the Wildcats win the pinball battle underneath. In transition, White pulls up and swishes it from 15 feet.
And it's the White Johnson show as they have, really catapulted this offense in this second quarter.
But remember your Southeast Toyota dealers' keys to the game, Henson. Next, women up. Who's it going to be? And right now, it's Chariot Johnson. 29-24. Wildcats with their biggest lead of the night. White attacks the closeout, misses short, and then is fouled by Nakia Cheatham on the reach-in. And both teams have to know that these refs are going to be aggressively calling those reach-in fouls.
Yeah. Especially at this point, you've seen them call them. They're calling this game tight. Don't be surprised at this point.
Wildcats have had 10 more shot attempts than Alcorn State in this game. Beneficiary of 14 Braves turnovers as a 3 goes down. Tucker, the best three-point shooter on this team, grabs her 16th of the season.
Great job. There were 2 open Wildcats on that possession. Chariot Johnson in the corner, and Tucker was open there on the wing.
McAlfia hoists a 3. Nice box out from McDonald. Tucker. Back to the top. Woods drives. There's a lane for her, and she is fouled. The Wildcats on an 8-0 run and going to the line to make it more.
Did a great job drawing all those defenders in there. Gets fouled, has an open player on the wing. That's a perfect situation for her.
And because Tucker, I think, hit that 3, there was an extra defender shaded over to her that allowed Woods to go to the paint.
Yeah. That's why it's important to have multiple players, being hot, or, players that you have to watch out for. Makes it easier for other players to start playing their game. When Chanel McDonald was getting force-fed the ball a lot, we couldn't really see the benefits of the other offensive players on the Wildcats team, and as we spread the ball around and she makes both those free throws, we've seen a better job from everybody being able to get open opportunities and scoring.
Wildcats have opened up a 10-point gap, the largest lead by either team today. Aggressive defense from Cariana Woods on Arena. Baseline drive and a blocking foul.
And that's 3 for Tucker.
Yeah. Oh, correction, that is 3 for Tucker, so she will probably sit the rest of the first half. Edwards comes in for her.
And now she's going to be in trouble for much of the third and fourth when she plays. The Alcorn State players will definitely know that she is in danger of fouling out, and then we're down to a 7-woman rotation.
And, the Braves almost throw the ball away. A couple of heroics to get the ball in, and McAlfia resets. 1:20 in the first half. Cheatham drives and kicks. Arene on the baseline. Mid-ranger misses everything, and it was touched by McDonald. And she claims her innocence, as she thought Arene Aikapalor last touched that ball. Arene to Gunner, and it's tapped out again. Great defense by Edwards.
Making it as hard as possible. They only have 2 seconds to get this shot off. Now, here and more, we do have human shot clock management, so you might get an extra second or milliseconds, really. But those are very key.
2 seconds to get it off. Arene once again the gunner. They float it up. It's chaos underneath, and the Wildcats take it away. In transition, 3 on the way. Too strong from White. And with less than a minute left and a 10-point lead, I would have said maybe hang on to the ball a little bit.
That maybe wasn't the best percentage shot, but maybe a heat check.
Wildcats 2 of 9 from three-point range today. Backdoor pass. Cheatham rejected by Chariot Johnson.
A great job by Chariot Johnson. He's done very well on defense in the possessions that we've seen. She's been in passing lanes. She's disrupted, considering all of the things she's probably having to do, and all the things that all the Wildcat defenders are having to do extra without having, your Chanel Wilson and Kayla Clark, especially in the post with that block.
A 4th career block for Chariot Johnson, and the first one against Division I opposition. McAlfia off the glass, no good. And another almost shot clock violation forced by the Cats. 22 to go, shot clock off, so they will hold for the final shot, up by 10. Neither team has scored in the last couple of minutes. Alcorn has not scored in over 4 minutes. The Wildcats getting it done on the defensive end, and has led to offense late in this first half. 5 seconds left. Drive from Woods, kick to the corner. 3 on the way, splashdown! And the first half ends on a buzzer-beating triple by Kayla White, and the Cats are on fire. A 13-0 run to end the first half.
That was amazing, both offensively and defensively for the Wildcats. We came into this game, talking about, all the woes that this team has faced, and they are laughing in the face of that. Kayla White with 12 points, Chariot Johnson with 8 points, Kariana Woods with 6, Tucker with 5. Everyone is scoring. Everyone is helping the team effort to succeed here.
Your score at the half, Bethune-Cookman 37, Alcorn State 24. But we won't talk about the stats right now. We'll save that for our Southeast Toyota Dealers halftime report when we come back from break. But talk about the mentality of this team and how tough is it to lose 3 of your top scorers to injury and still come out and play well in the second quarter.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it is a team sport, but it's also down to the individual players. And I bet you a lot of these players had conversations with their friends, with their teammates, about just because, Kayla Clark's out, just because Dorsey's out, just because Wilson's out, doesn't mean this team is over, doesn't mean our season's over. Even though people may talk about it like it is, you obviously go into every game trying to succeed. You're not playing for draft position. It's college. This is your opportunity. You have a limited amount, and this injury bug has already taken out some of your teammates. Who knows? You might be next. So you got to play every game like it's your possible last.
And for a team, right, that has some of their best players go down, in a situation where eventually those players come back, we are expecting Chanel Wilson to come back. We're expecting Kayla Clark to come back. We still don't know about Damani Dorsey after her injury on Saturday. But if you have more players that are capable of stepping up, that only makes the team better in the long run.
Yeah, having more depth pieces, having Chariot Johnson, if she comes out of her shell, so to speak, in these next couple of games, depending on how long injuries last and what have you, and then we have a real 6th or 7th woman scorer, that would be a godsend for this Wildcats offense that sometimes struggles to score when players like Wilson or Clark or McDonald don't have it going at the moment.
We'll take a break for about 10 minutes, and then when we come back, it's the Southeast Toyota Dealers halftime report and the second half for Moore Gymnasium. It's Wildcats 37, Alcorn State 24. You're listening to Bethune-Cookman University Basketball right here on the CatEye Network. Welcome back to more Gymnasium. We have hit the halftime interval between the Bethune-Cookman Wildcats and the Alcorn State Braves. Bethune-Cookman leads at 37-24. They closed the half on a 13-0 run after it was tied with 4:39 to go in the half. It's now time for the Southeast Toyota Dealers halftime report. Let's get your scoring totals for the first half. First for Alcorn State. White has 10, and Brown with 4, McAlphy a 3, Backus 3, Arika Polor 1, Cheatham 1, and that's it. White with 10, nobody else with more than 5, Henson.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta spread the scoring out somewhat, you know. And they've tried shooting-wise. If you look at the percentages and all that kind of stuff, you have 2 for 4, 1 for 3, 1 for 2, 1 for 2, multiple threes taken, 0 for 5. And then you have an 0 for 1 and an 0 for 1. So they've tried to spread this ball out, but it's, you know, just not working.
And for Bethune-Cookman, Kayla White leads all scorers with 12 on 5 of 8 shooting from the floor, 1 of 4 from 3. Chariot Johnson has 8 points. True freshman off the bench, big game. Your top scorer is out. She's put up 8 points, 2 of 3 from the floor, 3 of 3 from the line. Woods has 6, Tucker with 5, McDonald with 4. She's 2 of 8 from the floor. She's kind of been held in check by Destiny Brown down there in the low post, and DeShante Edwards with 2. The Wildcats shooting 35% from the floor. Alcorn State 36%, but the disparity is in shots taken. The Wildcats 34 shots to Alcorn State's 28. 15 Alcorn State turnovers in that first half. 9 of those on steals. Kayla White has 4 steals by herself. She needs just 2 to get the 40 on the season and join 2 other Wildcats in DeShante Edwards and Kerrigan Dunn on 40 steals for the year.
Yeah, I mean, and if you, once again, you know, the 4 steals, you have 2 from Woods, 1 from Tucker, 1 from McDonald, 1 from Edwards. And even though we're not seeing the best, you know, Chanel McDonald performance we've ever seen, it's a testament to this team as a whole that even when literally all of your best, you know, scorers statistically are either out or not having their best shooting day, you have still Kayla White steps up. Chariot Johnson, the true freshman, as we've talked about ad nauseum at this point, steps up. Wood steps up. Tucker has done her job and made some good key shots. So it's very impressive for this Wildcats team to not only be winning this game, but to be up 13 heading into the second half.
Now, one stat that is a little bit concerning, and I'm sure something that the Wildcats coaching staff will have looked at, is they only have I've now lost it. There it is. They only have 12 points off of 15 turnovers. That's not a great conversion rate. They've blown a lot of layups in transition. A lot of times they've settled for mid-range jumpers early on in shot clocks when they maybe could have gotten a better look later on by running a set play.
Yeah, I mean, especially when you're up as much as they are and you have the lack of rotation that they have, you know, especially if this game starts, if they end up in a tit-for-tat situation, you want to slow this play down. You want to run your set plays, run that horns play we see them run and utilize off to try to make more space for Chanel McDonald or take advantage of their overemphasis on her and, you know, more towards her perimeter scores.
This has been your Southeast Toyota Dealer first half recap. Visit your local Toyota dealers or explore Toyota.com today. No matter your destination, Toyota goes with you. Toyota, let's go places. And the Wildcats are hoping to go places back to above 500 in conference play. A win today would get them to 4-3. And it's really too early in the conference schedule to talk about seeding and playoff positioning and all that. I mean, obviously, Jackson State undefeated. And then it's anyone's game below that. Southern, Grambling are probably the next 2. Bethune-Cookman looking to maybe be in that 4th position come season's end.
Yeah, but then you talk about, as you said, Southern and Grambling. Those teams we've already played once.
3 on the way, no good.
As well as Jackson State, so.
Omaria Tucker, who has 3 fouls, is starting the second half for the Wildcats. So watch out for number 10 in white. See if she gets in any more foul trouble.
Yeah, but that's a bold move from Coach Craig. She trusts her player, obviously.
Nice grab from McDonald in the low block. She fades away and rolls it in off the front iron.
And that's a really tough shot, and that's a great way to start her quarter out. You know, you struggled in the first half, immediately make a tough shot through, you know, contact.
Wildcats played some stellar defense in half number one, especially on the glass against a taller Alcorn State team. Destiny Brown goes to work. She kicks it out. Around the horn it goes. And a hand check violation going to be called against Tucker, and that is her 4th foul, and that's the danger of starting her in the second half, as immediately you see Kerrigan Dunn get up off the bench.
So now it went from, well, she has 3 fouls, you just gotta have to be, you know, careful too. Well, we could only really put her out in a, like, necessary situation, you know.
Tough weekend for Omaria Tucker. Had 4 points against Jackson State, has 5 tonight, hit a big 3 in the middle of that 13-0 run to close the first half, and has just been hampered by those foul trouble issues. That was a 3-pointer on the way from White with absolutely no spin on it at all. Nice pass ahead. Edwards is fouled by Nia McAlfee, and you saw the referee hustling down the baseline to prevent any sort of afterwards, because that was a hard foul.
And that's good refereeing there, immediately sensing that something could, you know, spark off here, getting in between the players, making sure everything stays cordial.
And it wasn't the Jackson State game, I think it was the Southern game, right, where we saw some afters after a rebound.
Yeah.
A couple of players wrestling to the ground.
And it could be said that that was really what the catalyst of why that Wildcats team lost that game. Not even because of the afters necessarily, but that break really messed up the Wildcats' rhythm.
40-24 now, as the first free throw is good by Deshante Edwards. She has this kind of angular free throw style where it's slow through the hips and then really quick release through the forearms.
Yep. Had a lot of fun looking at jump shots in the, you know, these women's and men's games that we have in here. We get some pretty interesting ones.
Oh, what a steal.
Wow.
I'll take that, says Kayla White. Her 5th steal of the contest.
And it looks to reset and slow down the possession. Smart move.
And if Kayla White continues her defensive prowess today as she floats it down to McDonald, McDonald somehow keeps possession. 6 to shoot. Woods drives off the glass and in.
An extremely tough shot. I thought she was going to get blocked or fouled or something. Somehow gets through unscathed and makes that off the backboard.
Oh, Deshante Edwards flies through and almost gets the steal. But finish my point about Kayla White is, if she continues to steal the ball like she has been, there could be 3 Wildcats in the top 5 in the conference in steals after this weekend. 3 from the corner, short, offensive board for White. Off balance, put back, no good. Brown, a second chance, and she gets it to go. The first bucket for Alcorn State in 6 minutes and 41 seconds. It ends a 19-0 Wildcats run.
And that's winning basketball. If you could keep a team from scoring.
And a traveling violation. The Wildcats turn it over for only the 5th time today.
Just try to get that ball out of her hands too quick, moved her feet, and gets that traveling violation.
And we might see Alcorn State go to this press. I mentioned it a little bit in the first half, but the Wildcats have struggled at times to break the press, especially against Grambling State. That's really, ultimately, I think, what cost them that game. Again, they lost by 3 as Alcorn State throws it away. Tajane Wright threw it into the hallway.
And now the Wildcats get the ball back in there immediately in this full-court press kind of set. 2-2-1. We've seen it implemented time and time again against these Wildcats.
Woods to Edwards. Edwards rifled it to McDonald. McDonald in a 2-on-1 and throws the ball away, and it pops right back to her. It pops out to Woods, and she misses the layup.
Oh, almost an excellent play by Chanel McDonald. Just misses that layup at the end there, Woods does.
I'm not sure that's how Coach Creighton drew that play up. Destiny Brown scores.
And now they've had a ton of practice against this press at this point in the season. Against SWAC competition, mind you.
Pull-up jumper, no good. McDonald offensive board. Out of bounds, Wildcat ball. You almost took my head off there with that aggressive point there, Henson.
Yeah, I forgot that we switched sides. Pointed the wrong direction. But
there are times I wish we had a booth cam. That's one of those times. Henson was like, we have that ball. And now here's the standout player from the first half, Chariot Johnson, checking back in. 8 points for Johnson in just 10 minutes. Edwards travels.
Bounced the ball, carried it, kind of, tried to go for like a Euro step kind of thing around her defender, but you just can't take that many steps.
Quick 4-0 run, and nice positioning there by Edwards to get the steal. DeShante, bounce pass to Woods. Woods tried to go back to DeShante instead of putting up the layup and turns it over. In transition, White flying to the bucket. Brown taller than anybody else down there. Johnson altered the shot, and it's going to be an and-one opportunity for Nakia Cheatham. And we have seen this time and again. Third quarter not kind to the Wildcats this season.
This is not. If you want to have a team to beat, third quarter Wildcats is a pretty good option because they seem to have struggled semi-consistently in this quarter.
And now you're grateful for that 13-point lead you built up at the break.
Yeah. And as we said early in the broadcast, people are going to start to get tired, stuff of that nature. And it's good to have that lead so that it isn't immediately an emergency.
And we saw this against Florida A&M, right? They were up by 20-plus at halftime, and then Florida A&M only lost that game by 4. A game that came down to free throws at the end of it. Johnson in the corner. Wanted her second three of the contest, didn't get it. White with the board. Ashanti Bacchus, who hit a three in the first half, slows it down. Right back to Bacchus. Wants her second three of the game. Misses that one, and flashing through is Kayla White for the rebound. White, full head of speed. Chariot Johnson fakes out the defender. Tries to throw it to McDonald, and another Wildcat turnover. 3 straight turnovers for the Cats.
Just too many extra passes. We've seen a couple opportunities where the Wildcats probably should have just taken the shot they were given instead of trying to force that extra pass.
Brown, high post, just takes the shot and hits it. That's a Chanel McDonald-esque rhythm shot. Back to a 10-point game. The Wildcats led by as many as 19 as Coach Creighton calls a timeout. 7 straight points for Alcorn State. Come be a part of BCU Athletics and support the CatEye Network. If you or your business is interested in partnering with us here on the CatEye Network, you can reach out to the Wildcats Athletic Communications Department at BCU Sports Info at cookman.edu. That's BCU Sports Info at cookman.edu. And there is no BC without you. Show your support for Bethune-Cookman Athletics by joining the Wildcat Champions Club today. Help us build a championship culture at Bethune-Cookman. You can donate and join at cookman.scalefunder.com. That's cookman.scalefunder.com. And Hanson, we have seen a completely different team for the Wildcats play this second half than played the last 10 minutes of the first.
Yeah, I mean, you can't. They played so excellent in that first half, and all of a sudden this second half, and I think it's something about this Wildcats team in long breaks. Halftime, third quarter, the tech we saw in that Southern game, which took a while to figure out who was supposed to get the foul. And along with the press is 2 things they've just struggled with. And they've broken the press well. The press isn't even really the issue. They haven't caused any turnovers in our backcourt. We just get down, within the paint at sometimes, and just one too many passes. No one comes back to help a player like Chanel McDonald, who has 2 defenders on her, and she's just trying to get the ball out.
So I think the main problem, right, is the press. Yes, we're breaking it effectively, but we're being sped up by the press, right? And we're taking early shots. And we talked about this at halftime. Break the press, then get into your half-court set. You don't have to immediately go to the paint and immediately try to get a quick bucket. because you're in the lead by 10 points. Now the Wildcats will run a half-court set here. Chariot Johnson goes right, and it's going to be an offensive foul for a push-off.
Chariot Johnson certainly isn't scared to shoot. We've seen her, you know, already at 2 for 5 as we go ahead into another media timeout.
Home conference play continues for BCU basketball. Saturday, September 10th at 2 p.m. for a SWAC doubleheader against Prairie View A&M. The women start at 2 p.m. The men tip things off at 4:30. Can't make it some more? Catch all the action live on youtube.com/CatEye Network. That's 2 weekends from today. The Wildcats will do the Texas two-step with Prairie View and Texas Southern coming to town. And of course, on the men's side, Texas Southern, the reigning SWAC conference champions.
Yeah, Texas Southern's going to be a tough game. And the good thing about this Wildcats team schedule is that they've played a lot of those real tough teams in the SWAC early. So that this middle of the season where they can really pick up some steam heading into these return games and away games against these Jackson States, Texas Southerns, Gramblings, and all that kind of stuff.
33-43. It's a 9-0 run over the past 326 for Alcorn State, where the Wildcats have turned the ball over 5 times in that span. They had only turned the ball over 5 times in the first half. They've now turned it over 10 times. Alcorn State still with 18 turnovers on 11 Bethune-Cookman steals. But again, all correctable issues for the Wildcats. They just got to calm down a little bit and play their game.
Yeah, something that Coach Creighton probably talked about, yelled about, you know, as coaches do in that huddle. Hey, you know, we're winning. Don't make any dumb mistakes. Let's try to play our game. We did really well that first half. Go back to that. Force those turnovers and take advantage of them.
Alcorn State was once down 19. They've got the ball. Well, they don't have it anymore because Ashanti Backus traveled with it, but they could have put it down within 10 points.
We've seen a couple of travels and, you know, no double dribbles, but a couple of travels this game.
Both teams have traveled more than twice, I believe. It's not a stat we keep.
No.
Wildcats with a 10-point lead, but the momentum is all with the team wearing purple. From Lorman, Mississippi right now. Chanel McDonald up on top of the key. 7 to shoot. Back to McDonald. Mid-range jumper, no. Usually that's her bread and butter.
Yep. And Ashante Edwards is not tall enough to even affect that rebound from Brown.
Nice stutter step. Cheatham attacks the closeout. Too strong on the layup attempt, but it'll still be Alcorn State ball as it bounced off of Kerrigan Dunn.
And as we said when we came into this game, you know, they're not amazing on the at three-point shooting. As we saw, Cheatham had a wide open three-pointer but chose to drive.
Brown and one again. And there's not much you can do against a 6'3" player when your tallest player on the floor is 5'11".
And you had your tallest player on him. You had McDonald on her, and she still scores through her, rather.
Yeah. Destiny Brown has a double-double already. 12 points, 11 rebounds.
And then 2 assists, 2 steals, and 2 blocks, and only 1 foul in 21 minutes. Playing lights-out basketball.
7-point game, 43-36. Wildcats break the press again, but have not had any love on offense. And they're going to call a hand check on Zanaya White. That's the same call that got Omaria Tucker, her 3rd foul. The Wildcats scoreless for almost 5 minutes now. And we saw this at the beginning of the game, too, when they were 1 for their first 10 from the floor.
Yeah, but this time, Alcorn is scoring as well. It would, at the start of the game out, no one really could.
Nice drive and find. McDonald finally breaks the duck, and that's what you want.
And that's how you take, when you make that extra pass, that's how you have to take it, to draw in defenders with your drive or something of that nature. Find your wide open teammate and score in that space.
Cats in man-to-man. Brown throws it away.
Little bit too much zip. And that was her first turnover. So she had a double-double. And in a game with 19 team turnovers, she didn't even have one until that.
Alcorn turns the ball over on average 18 times a game. They've already passed that. That's their 20th turnover. And they're going to call an arm bar foul. Who did they call that against? Oh, they called it against Ashanti Bacchus.
Yeah. I was assuming.
I thought they were going to call it on White.
Yeah, I was assuming it wasn't. At first, I was confused if it was even a pro Wildcat foul.
White drives off glass.
And I don't know what Brown was looking at there on that drive. That's the only real reason she had that much space in the lane.
Wildcats back up to double-digit lead. Destiny Brown off the underside of the bar, and a foul. And this could turn into a free throw shooting contest here in the second half.
We're going to wait to see who that foul is on. I think it was on McDonald, but no.
I didn't see a signal from the referee. We'll wait for it to come across the live stats ticker. But Destiny Brown to the line. A 58.6% free throw shooter, Brown, from Los Angeles. Transferred from Southern Nevada University and was second in blocks in all of the NJCAA and was on their national D1 second team at Southern Nevada. Misses the second one. Wildcats with the rebound. Long pass. White comes down with it. Finds Edwards underneath. She lost the ball, ripped it away. McDonald puts it up, and it circles the round and goes down.
Yep. Making sure to keep that lead going. Not really allowing them to be within a close game here.
And this is the response you wanted to see for the Wildcats after that Alcorn State run. Because you know the Braves don't really want to shoot the three. They're 3 for 12 on the game. And, oh, Kayla White almost had a steal. She just couldn't out-jump Destiny Brown. White goes to the hoop and gets a tough bucket.
And good job by Chanel McDonald. Even though she didn't stop that score, not getting, getting that call on you and having 4 fouls heading into the fourth quarter.
Edwards splits a double team, finds McDonald, and she'll go to the line.
And Chanel McDonald in this second half is really reminding everybody why we highlighted her and to start the game out offensively.
She's got 10 points and 6 rebounds. So she's also on double-double watch.
Carriana Woods also on double-double watch. 8 points, 6 for 6 for the free throw line because that amazing 4-point technical play.
Yep.
And then 6 assists.
And Kayla White, it's unlikely that this happens, but is halfway to a double-double points and steals. 12 points, 5 steals.
And we've seen her in those passing lanes, so I wouldn't be surprised if she got a couple more. And in some of these recent games, we've seen the Wildcats kind of get away from
0 for 2 for McDonald from the line.
Stealing as much in transition and stuff, but they've kind of hit their stride once again.
In games where they're being pressed the whole time, Grambling and Southern, a lot of that defensive intensity goes away. Floater no good from Arene. Put back no good but a foul. And Destiny Brown
and that's
may have double-digit free throw attempts in this game.
Yeah, and that's on Chanel McDonald. So now the freshman, number 15.
Gabriella Stevens is in. From Flint, Michigan and Davidson High School. Also played volleyball. Saw her first career game against Warner. She played against Warner, Trinity Baptist, and then against Valparaiso, and hasn't played since then.
And that's what happens when you only have 8 possible, players on your bench, especially if two of them get into foul trouble.
And now the Wildcats do not have a player on the floor over 6 foot tall. Gabriella Stevens play the 5 at 5'11". Woods into the front court, blows by Backus. Dunn on the baseline. And a mid-range jumper goes down for Deshante Edwards. She only has 6 points in the contest, been a bit quiet tonight.
Yeah, Kayla White and has taken a lot of those looks that she usually would get, and she's done a good job knocking them down 6 for 10.
Off the screen by Brown. Arine doesn't take the 3. 10 to shoot, 30 seconds to go in the quarter. Brown grabs the lob, misses, and Stevens takes the board, then has it poked out of bounds. Wildcats will keep the ball. Gabriella Stevens, in her 4 appearances, has scored 16 total points and grabbed 6 rebounds, has 1 assist and 1 steal.
And now the Wildcats will probably look to hold for this last shot.
Got to get in the front court. Nice move by White. 15 to go in the third quarter. Wildcats by 10, 51-41, in a quarter that really has been dominated by Alcorn State. White, stutter step, gets run into by Tajane Wright. And that will send her to the line into the bonus.
Yep, and even through that, they could go to the break up 12, even though they haven't had the best of third quarters.
17-14 in the third quarter in favor of Alcorn State. The Wildcats in the first half scored 18 points in the first and 19 in the second.
But only held, the Braves were held rather to 9.
In that second quarter, yeah. That was the big 13-0 run to end the first half. Offensive board, put back and a foul. Kerrigan Dunn's gonna go to the line to get more free throws.
Now, if you really wanna try and be petty, you could try to just keep going with this rebound foul nonsense, but I don't think that's very statistically likely at all.
I would rather take the points.
Get all their players in foul trouble.
But if you play that game, though, I'm just going to play devil's advocate here real quick. You run the risk of committing some offensive fouls, which you really don't want to do considering you're down to a 7-woman rotation.
Yep.
And right there, that is a foul that you do not want to commit if you are Kayla White. Pushed her out of bounds and sends McAlpia to the line with 1.4 seconds to go in the quarter.
And at first I thought they were going to call Coach Creighton for being too close to the action there.
I'm not sure where else she could stand, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah.
There's not much room between the table and the floor. So Nia McAlpia, a senior from Newton, Mississippi, hits the first one. Has exactly 100 career steals coming into the game. Does not have one tonight. She's played all 5 of her college seasons for the Braves. Averaged 3.5 points and 2 rebounds in those 5 seasons. 1.4 seconds left. Wildcats, just important to get the ball in play. And we will head to the fourth quarter. Wildcats up 54-43, an 11-point lead, but the Cats led by as many as 19 as Alcorn State tries to come back and make a game of this one. This is Bethune-Cookman University basketball on the CatEye Network. The Wildcats take the national stage tonight as BCU men's basketball comes to you live on ESPN2. Tip-off is set for 9 p.m. as the Alcorn State Braves come to town. Tickets not available at the door. It is officially a sellout. So join us on ESPN2 at 9 p.m. this evening for Wildcats basketball and a beautiful showcase of what the atmosphere in Moore Gymnasium is all about.
Yeah, and you know, if you watch that game and tune in, they might come back even some more, especially if the Wildcats pull that victory out against Alcorn.
Wildcats, if they win tonight, the men's team, they are 5-2 in the SWAC, and I believe that would put them in second place.
Yeah, I mean, they've really beat expectations here to start the season. I don't think a lot of people had them as a top team in the SWAC, in all honesty.
They've pulled two massive upsets, right? It'd be the win against Southern, the win against Jackson State on Saturday, and then they almost got one against Pine Bluff. They only lost that game by 3, and you think, oh man, if you had that one back, then you're tied for first in the league. But Zion Harmon is back from injury, doing Zion Harmon things. He had 18 points in the first half on Saturday night. He is box office. Jacoby Hetty, 3-level scorer, box office himself. Damani McIntyre leads the SWAC in steals off the bench, only averaging like 10 minutes per game.
One of the top stealers, wish there was a better term for that, but stealers in the nation, still I think top 5 in steals per game.
And he does it coming off the bench, which is just wild.
Yeah.
So ESPN2, 9 p.m., Wildcats against Alcorn State. Here, we go to the fourth quarter, and the Wildcats have a 54-43 lead. Visit your local Toyota dealers today. Toyota, let's go places. Kayla White has picked up the slack from the absence of Chanel Wilson. 15 points on 6 of 10 shooting and 5 steals tonight. Wildcats immediately turn it over at the start of the fourth quarter.
Yeah. The freshman Gabriella Stevens is still out there. Both of your main center, hybrid, whatever you want to call them, and Tucker and McDonald have 4 fouls.
I wouldn't expect to see either of them for a while, especially if the Wildcats continue to maintain this lead. Brown, top of the key 8 to shoot.
Ooh.
She puts the moves on Stevens and gets fouled. And it must be tough, right, for a true freshman, come in, give up 6 inches on your opponent, and then have her pull a move like that.
Yeah. I mean, that crossover got me moving a little bit, and now she's going to take a rest as McDonald comes back out there. And now she has to be super careful, but we've seen it done before.
McDonald only has 3 fouls, not 4.
Oh.
I think they took one of them off the board and gave it to somebody else.
Yeah.
Brown at the line again. She's now 5 of 6 from the stripe.
But we saw Angel Jackson last time out have a game where she had, 4 fouls for most, if not all, of the fourth quarter.
And only fouled out with about 2 minutes left.
So it is possible. It's just tough.
Especially if you're a player like Chanel McDonald in the paint against 2 players taller than you. Head fake and drive. McDonald at the free throw line. Gets the ball stripped by Brown. And I think McDonald has to understand that she's 1-on-2 down there with no help.
Yeah.
9 minutes to play, 11-point lead for Bethune-Cookman. Trying to get a win with 3 of their top 4 scorers out with injury. Destiny Brown against Chanel McDonald. Great defense by McDonald. White in transition, lost the ball.
Runs into the 2 Alcorn defenders coming back.
3 in transition, no good, but a long rebound for Henderson.
First 3 in forever.
Mid-range jumper, good for Tyjane Wright, and timeout Alcorn State as the lead is down to 9. Oh, correction, the lead is down to 8.
7.
7, my apologies.
We're counting down.
And we talked about this in the third quarter. We have seen this over and over again this season, and it's not just in the conference games. Back to a game against Iona, the game against Jacksonville, right, where the Wildcats had big leads and almost let them slip away. Yes, they won both of those games. One of them had to go to overtime, and the other one had to be a free throw shooting contest down the stretch.
Yeah, and to point out one of the keys of the game for Alcorn was to win that rebounding battle, take advantage of your height advantage. Brown obviously has the height on every Bethune-Cookman Wildcat out there and is made a point, scoring 18 points, and they're winning the rebound battle 34-24, out-rebounding them both on the offensive and defensive glass by 5.
Now, the Wildcats are third in the SWAC in rebounds per game with 40.8, but that's with Kayla Clark out there, who leads the SWAC in rebounds per game with 9. But with her not in the fold today, it's been very difficult on the glass, especially when Chanel McDonald is not out there.
Yeah.
17 second chance points for Alcorn State, just 6 for BCU.
And when your two leading rebounders are both players that are playing that center role in McDonald and Tucker, and then your next closest is Deshante Edwards, who loves just going down and driving. And I think both of those rebounds were on that one possession very early on, where she got 2 second chance opportunities.
8:28 to go. It is as close it is at, this game is as close it is as it's been since early in the second quarter, before the Wildcats went on a 13-0 run and took a 13-point lead into the break. And Alcorn State has been slowly chipping away at that lead the entirety of the second half. The Wildcats have yet to score in this fourth quarter, and there's a foul called against McAlpia for tripping up Edwards. Trying to look at the foul trouble for Alcorn State. Cheatham has 3. McAlpia now has 3. Brown has 2, and Ford has 2, and Wright has 3. Nobody else with more than 1.
And that's the benefits of having a bigger rotation. You just don't have have more players that can get fouls without putting themselves into foul trouble necessarily.
Jaria Johnson back on the floor. Wildcats going to have to try and find some offense from somewhere. They try to go to McDonald again. She's immediately tied up. Woods takes a long 2. Too strong. Long rebound. McAlpia in stride. Being chased by Johnson. And then an almost steal. And Alcorn will reset after the ball was off the hands of Edwards.
Almost catches that. Just can't corral it in and ends up going straight to an Alcorn player.
Backus goes between her legs, gets around the screen, pulls up with 3 on the shot clock. No good. Johnson the rebound. And then a steal again as the long pass is intercepted by Backus. She goes to the hole. Nobody playing defense. The layup is no good, but it's another second chance opportunity. A third chance opportunity goes begging, and Chariot Johnson eventually grabs the board.
And you know, the Braves will rue chances like that.
Edwards, she gets a second chance opportunity now. Tried to throw it into the backcourt. The ball goes off of a knee, and it's Alcorn State ball as it last touched Cariana Woods.
And just too many players going for that ball. Both Woods and Dunn both went for that same ball and end up neither of them getting it. Tucker looks to come into the game.
Alcorn leading 23-17 in this second half. Wildcats have yet to score in the fourth quarter.
Very slow start in almost every quarter except for the second for the Wildcat offense.
And right now, they just can't even get shots, mostly because they're turning the ball over. They've now turned the ball over 14 times. The Wildcats have. And that's the 21st Alcorn turnover. Woods fouled hard as she flies into the boards behind the Wildcat basket. That's going to be the 4th foul on Nia McAlpia, and they may go to the monitor and check this. I think that is what Coach Creighton is talking about, and the referee said at the next timeout they will check it for a potential flagrant.
Yeah.
Correction, they're going to do it now as they send everybody back to the benches.
And that looked really, you know, I don't want to say it looked really dangerous, but kind of threw her arm, kind of got it hooked around and just took her with her. And then they both careened into the wall.
Southeast Toyota Dealers is a proud supporter of Bethune-Cookman basketball. Visit your local Toyota dealers or explore Toyota.com today and take advantage of deals on our full line of vehicles. And the National Signing Day show is quickly approaching. Head football coach Raymond Woody Jr. and his staff have been hard at work recruiting the best talent in the nation. Come be a part of Bethune-Cookman football's live National Signing Day show on Wednesday, February 7th as we announce a new breed of Wildcats. I will join Coach Woody live at youtube.com/CatEye Network to recap an exciting offseason here at the beach. Full details announced soon, so stay tuned. Wildcats still stifled offensively, but they will be going to the line after this timeout as the referees are looking for a potential intentional foul against Nia McAlfia. She has 4 fouls regardless.
A great break, actually, for the Wildcats. You know, you have these players that haven't been able to get massive rests. Everyone's playing around the same amount of time compared to Alcorn. And Coach Creighton was pleading with the ref to check it now, and I don't think she used one of her timeouts in the second half. 3 for both teams.
Yeah, 3 timeouts left for both teams as we are still in the timeout. Let's take a look at the upcoming schedule for Bethune-Cookman. Next weekend, they're on the road in Alabama. Alabama State and Alabama A&M. Alabama State is an interesting basketball school at the moment because their men's team has potentially the best player in the SWAC right now in TJ Madlock and are on top of the SWAC standings at 5-1. The women's team is at the bottom of the conference standings. I believe they're 1-5.
And then after that, you go to Alabama A&M, who have played. And the SWAC is very funny because everyone seems to beat anybody. You know, it's the any given Sunday rule in the SWAC, any given Saturday or Monday.
Yeah. And the next homestand is Prairie View A&M and Texas Southern as the 2 Texas teams come all the way to Florida. For Alcorn State, they will go to the Louisiana swing next. They will host Southern and Grambling State. We know how hard of a homestand that is. And then after that, they will go to Arkansas, Pine Bluff, and Mississippi Valley before playing Bethune-Cookman again, but this time at Alcorn on the back end of the SWAC schedule. So we are close to the halfway point of conference play.
Yeah, and I want to point out that Louisiana double pivot kind of thing that a lot of these SWAC teams have to run into, especially on the women's side of the game, is so tough because both of those teams play a high energy, intense pressing style. So you're going to have players that are tired after playing, you know, Grambling or Southern, and then they have to go around in a day or two to play, you know, the opposite team who also plays that high pressing standard.
Yeah. And of course, the Wildcats down the stretch, because they started the season strong, they'll have to close it with Southern, Grambling, and Florida A&M as their last 3 games, all of those on the road, and with potential playoff seeding on the line as well.
Yeah. And they'll look to, you know, try to cement their place as a top, you know, 5-4 team in the SWAC as the coaches meet here and the refs are going to make their call.
Remember, we are looking to see a possible intentional foul against Nia McAlfia on Deshante Edwards after a steal and drive to the basket, if you're just joining us. The Wildcats lead at 54-47 with 6:47 to go in the game, but BCU has led by as many as 19 and led by 13 at the half.
And I'm going to assume by Coach Creighton turning away early that the call was a flagrant due to that conversation with Coach Kilbert.
Well, I will double check and get back to you. Destiny Brown has dominated today. He's got a double-double with 18 and 12, but also has 3 assists, 4 steals, and 2 blocks, all of those team highs. And Zanaya White has 12 points for Alcorn. For Bethune-Cookman, Kayla White has been big today, 15 points and 5 steals. And it is going to be an intentional foul, so we're going to have another potential 4 free throw possession here. Cariana Woods sinks the first one.
And she was in this one earlier on the other side of the court for a administrative technical for jersey numbers being incorrect, which is one of those you only see them maybe once or twice a year kind of calls.
You see something new every day here when you come to the office. So it was only 2 free throws and the ball.
Exactly what I was going to say. So,
and it
resets
So
possession
yes,
for
an
the
intentional
Wildcats.
foul against Nia McAlfia was the call. Got that confirmed from the scorer's table. Wildcats a chance to increase their lead. Backdoor cut by Woods, and she finishes in traffic.
And now, after that possession, now you're all of a sudden looking at an 11-point lead for the Wildcats. A huge turn of fortune there.
Cariana Woods got 6 points on that possession. No, excuse me, 4 points on that possession. But now she's up to 10. And 8 for 8 from the line. White dancing, driving, pushing off and getting an offensive foul.
And now
That's a call we've seen a couple of times today, mostly against the Wildcats.
yeah, but that was her second. But now, in that, the short absence of Brown, who has played 26 minutes, not the most on her team. White has played 29, but obviously a huge chunk of the game. The Wildcats have gotten back out.
Oh,
wow.
BCU throws that away. Kerrigan Dunn just launches it into the scorer's table, and the Wildcats, after going up 11, are just going to give Alcorn more chances to draw within single digits.
Yeah, for a second, I thought my eyes were playing tricks on me. That ball looked really high up and ends up in the scorer's table.
They go downstairs to Brown, and Brown misses the 5-footer, and the rebound is ripped away by Chanel McDonald. Long pass, Tucker underneath. She swishes it.
Yep.
Amaria Tucker in with 4 fouls and runs the floor beautifully. Nobody picked her up.
Yeah, but Alcorn will have to play fast now. They're down 13. They can't take time possessions, but the problem is they don't like shooting threes.
That's a step back. Oh, it's good. Nakia Cheatham, wow. She is
Never
the best
mind.
three-point shooter on the team at 33%. But that was Zion Harmon-esque. That ball is tapped out of bounds by White as she closed down Kerrigan Dunn.
And an extremely, so they've only shot 14 total threes. The Wildcats have only shot 10. But due to the nature of how they, Alcorn likes to play with a lot of wing play, a lot of, that extra pass along the wing, you'd think they'd shoot way more threes, but they just, haven't shot consistently from there throughout the season. So their coaching staff probably has a, let's not shoot those kind of mentality.
Well, if you have a player like Destiny Brown, a lot of times you don't need to shoot threes. Wildcats in the front court. Chariot Johnson, oh, nice move to get free on the baseline, and she just misses it. And then it's tapped out of bounds by Tucker. Coaching staff for Bethune-Cookman not happy about their box outs as they have been out-rebounded 37-28 in the ball game. Mostly by Destiny Brown. Spinning and losing the ball is Aike Palor. Wildcats have a chance to increase this 10-point lead. Woods double teams. Timeout, Coach Creighton. You got him? Why not use him? And the Wildcats will take their first of 3 timeouts.
Shout out the fact that she got that ball out of that trap, though.
She did, and it kind of makes the timeout not look so great, but Coach Creighton is going to try and protect this lead. They're going to try and protect this possession. She didn't know she was going to find that pass and get it out there on time. So good call by Coach to get that ball away. Stay up to date with everything Bethune-Cookman Athletics by checking out the Wildcats on social media. Give BCU Athletics a like on Facebook and follow the Wildcats on Twitter and Instagram at BCU_athletics. For the latest on BCU women's basketball, follow at BCUWBB on Twitter. And Henson, something that's coming up that I'm really looking forward to?
What?
Baseball season is just around the corner. BCU baseball and softball ready to hit the field in the hunt for their first SWAC championship. The schedules are available at bcuathletics.com, and ticket information will be posted soon, so stay tuned. 16th of February, men's baseball is on the diamond against Stonehill College, and Coach Hernandez will have his boys ready to go as they look to go one better than last year.
Yeah. I mean, I'm up here with my D-backs hat on, World Series runner-ups, I guess, throughout the baseball season last year. But hopefully the Wildcats, much like the D-backs, I'm not a Diamondbacks fan. I'm just doing it for the point that I'm trying to make. But look to win the SWAC instead of just being the runner-up against that FAMU team.
Out of the Coach Creighton timeout, Wildcats will have the ball, 21 to shoot, 4:46 to go, and they're up by 10, 60-50. They've led by as many as 19. Alcorn State led early. Their largest lead was just 4 points, 10-6. Chariot Johnson, 3 from the corner. Oh, that looked like it was online. Johnson saves it, gets it to Edwards. It's Tucker in the corner. Oh, a third offensive rebound, and McDonald just comes up short, and the Wildcats got to cash in on those.
Yeah, the box out message obviously worked. Did a good job of getting multiple bites at the cherry there.
Oh, White, a beautiful move and a pull-up jumper.
Extremely tough shot there made by White, but good job getting that second rebound. Chariot Johnson misses, and
then the Wildcats turn it over again. It's been a comedy of turnovers for the Wildcats in the second half. Alcorn.
Timeout,
did they keep it in, or did Coach Kilbert call a timeout? Coach Kilbert called a timeout to prevent that ball from going out of play. So both teams have burned a timeout to prevent a turnover. And they'll both be down to 2 towards the end of this game. Make sure you are representing Bethune-Cookman University Athletics to the fullest. Buy the latest BCU gear online at the Bethune-Cookman online store. Go to bcuathletics.com and click on shop to find the newest BCU clothing and apparel. That's bcuathletics.com and click on shop. And Henson, the Wildcats may rue that last possession here. They're only up by 8 with 4 minutes to go. This is not a comfortable lead.
Yeah, I mean, Chariot Johnson had a decent look, but you have more time on the clock. You don't have to take that immediate shot, but getting those second chance rebounds, she does a great job of keeping the ball inbounds, throwing it back to her teammate, but still doesn't get the points that they were after. And, you know, now you're looking at an 8-point lead. Alcorn possession could be as little as a 5-point lead after it, and that's not where you want to be, especially when you were up by so much. But we've seen the Wildcats pull away when the last time the Braves got close, and it's possible that they might do it again.
The Wildcats have scored in spurts in this game, and then they have just gone away completely. There's been no in-between. Not a lot of back and forth in this contest. Either the Wildcats are dominating or Alcorn is dominating, and there's been no in-between.
Yep, currently a 9-6 rather in favor of Alcorn, fourth quarter.
And a 5-0 run for the Braves, who have the ball. Zanaya White, who has 14 points already today, drives baseline, kicks it back to Brown, who's got 18. She floats it up and misses it short.
Great defense from Chanel McDonald, who seems to be shaken up after that play.
In the corner, Tucker doesn't take the 3, and the Wildcats will just play for time. Edwards strong to the hoop and gets it with the left hand.
Shante Edwards will drive on anyone and anything, and does a great job seeing that lane open up and driving there to make that lead back to 10.
8 points for Edwards on the night. White pulls up, misses long. Tucker fighting for the rebound and is fouled. And depending on who that's on, it could be a 4th foul for somebody. No, it is on Aike Polor. That'll be her 2nd.
We're having fun saying that name in the booth.
Arine Aike Polor from Edmonton, Canada. Also played volleyball and track and won a Canadian national championship at the U15 level. Tucker, nice catch in the middle of the field. Edwards drives again and is fouled. And that might be a 2nd in a row on Aike Polor.
Deshante Edwards does not care for the 15U Canada national championship and drives straight into her, getting that foul call.
And we saw it earlier in the game with Chariot Johnson going right at Arena and scoring a tough bucket as well. Johnson hasn't featured much in this second half, but she went off in the first half, had 8 points, 2 of 6 from the field, 1 of 4 from 3, and 3 for 3 from the line. Also had 4 rebounds and a block.
Yeah, and the thing that I enjoy about, you know, how she's playing, especially as a freshman.
Wildcat ball. Last touch by Brown.
That referee was really dramatic. I love when refs wait like a good 5 seconds before they point, regardless of how obvious it was to them who has possession.
There was one referee, I can't remember off the top of my head who his name is, who always does high knees down the floor. And there's one Twitter account that keeps track of every game he referees and posts a picture of him doing high knees down the floor. It's very funny. Wildcats have a chance to get something out of this possession. That's a quick shot by White. And nothing comes of it, so 3 minutes left and a 10-point lead for the Wildcats.
Yeah. But back to Chariot Johnson, the one thing I do enjoy about how she plays, that she has confidence. We've seen her pull up. It isn't a confidence issue with her at all. Just have to get those shots to knock down more consistently.
And I think these are great minutes in a game like this for a freshman who Coach Creighton believes is the future of this program.
And swing the rock around the wing here. Finally
they go inside to Brown, and Destiny Brown has 20. 7 of 14. Wildcats just can't turn the ball over. And as I say that, they almost do, as Tyshanae Wright taps it against Coach Creighton.
And Coach Creighton frustratingly catches the ball. Definitely talk to them about those long outlet passes when they have so much, they don't have enough zip on them. They catch all that air. There's a ton of time for a defender to get into that passing lane. 2:30 left.
Wildcats, I think every possession will just try and hold the ball for as long as possible. Or not. Or Tucker will take a three and miss it. Braves in transition. White flashing through. Layup wild, but it's still Braves ball as it popped off of Tucker.
Tucker took a deep three there.
Yeah. And she is the best three-point shooter, on this team, shooting at 36%. Didn't get one on Saturday and only has one today. As the Wildcats have shot 3 of 13 from beyond the arc tonight.
She isn't a volume three-point shooter. She takes open ones, and she's good at knocking those down.
Nice on-ball defense. The step-back three is not there for Cheatham. 2 minutes left. Woods to White. White to the baseline, has to reset. Edwards was wide open, didn't take the three. Short corner, McDonald somehow keeps the ball. And a foul called as Woods drove the lane.
And Deshante Edwards and Carriana Woods love to drive the lane, matching headbands and all. Just will continuously drive against these teams and cause them, especially their interior players, to get in foul trouble. 22 total personal fouls for Alcorn.
And only one player with 4, that's Nia McAlfia. Cheatham has 3. Henderson has 3. Wright has 3. As Cariana Woods is back at the line. And Zanaya White just picked up her 3rd foul. And that one is good. Cariana Woods is 10 for 10 from the free throw line tonight. Incredible. Back to a 10-point lead.
And without those free throws, it would be a tie game right now.
Oh, White almost took it away from Brown, but it's an easy layup for Destiny. 8 points the gap, 1:30 to go. White's got that quick burst of speed in traffic. And she's got the handles to make it work too, and she shows them off, but can't get the runner to go.
But now only 1:15 left for a team that doesn't like to shoot threes.
They've got the center dribbling down the floor. Brown's got to get in position. Cheatham to the baseline, coughs it up. And the Wildcats turn it over again. Turnover number 24 for Alcorn State. Steal number 13 for the Cats. White doesn't take the three and holds it. 52 seconds left. And the Wildcats, I think, have just about done enough to see off a hard challenge from Alcorn State this afternoon. 8 seconds left. McDonald drives, kicks it out. Tucker for 3. Oh, Tucker remains cold from beyond the arc. And the ball came off of Tucker as she was guarding Cheatham down the floor. And that's, even though she didn't get the ball, it's still a great defense to force her wide and not allow an easy layup.
Yeah, Coach Creighton and Tucker confused a little bit about how in the world that ball doesn't belong to the Wildcats. They're convinced she didn't make contact.
Oh, look at that. When they needed it most, Chanel McDonald came up with the steal, and Deshante Edwards comes up with the bucket. McDonald finally gets the better of Brown, and that one might just seal it. It's back to a 10-point lead, 15 seconds left, and the Wildcats have done enough. White to Brown, mid-ranger, bang, 24 for Destiny Brown. And Nate Kilbert wants to talk it over with 9 seconds left and an 8-point lead. Do you think they foul here?
I mean, you're a team that doesn't like to shoot threes. You kind of have to just steal the ball. You don't have a real volume shooter from beyond the arc, so you have to kind of go, well, get the ball and try to, get a shot up. Everyone from Alcorn isn't shooting super well from beyond the arc. Backus is 1 for 2, and Arias is 1 for 1. But everyone else 1 for 5, 1 for 3, 0 for 2. So it's very difficult for those players. As a coach, it must be difficult to be like, well, I have these players that I know can hit threes, but haven't been there tonight. We only have 9 seconds left.
And the Wildcats are already in the bonus, so they don't have any fouls to give.
Yeah.
So I think Alcorn will go for a quick steal, and if they don't get it, back off and let this one end.
And not at the fault at all of Destiny Brown.
24 and 14, a double-double. Also had 4 assists, 4 steals, and 3 blocks, all team highs. A tremendous performance by Destiny Brown tonight. Sanaya White, 14 points, 4 assists, 3 boards. She played well as well, but outside of her, nobody else really contributing on the offensive end. 9.4 to go. Wildcats just got inbound this once. Alcorn State will back off. And Kayla White, who was the star of the show this evening on coach side court, will dribble it out. This one belongs to the maroon and gold. It's Wildcats 58, or it's Wildcats 66, Alcorn State 58. As the Wildcats improve to 4 and 3 in conference play, the Braves fall to 2 and 4. And a gutsy win tonight, Henson.
Yeah, a tough display out of the maroon and gold. At times we came into this game worried that, maybe the injuries would really play too much of a factor and the Wildcats wouldn't perform well here. But under the bright lights, and even with it only an 8-woman rotation, still pull out the victory. Did a good job. Got out-rebounded. As we said, that was Alcorn's key, but they did not take advantage of those rebounds, take advantage of all those turnovers they caused later in the game. And to be fair, if the Wildcats took advantage of their turnovers, this game would have been a blowout, if we're going to be quite frank.
Yeah. The Wildcats had 20 points off turnovers, which you think is good, but they forced 25 turnovers for Alcorn State.
As Kayla White dances after having a trend-setting performance of 15 points, shooting 50% from the field, 5 steals, 3 assists, 2 rebounds, a coming-out game for Kayla White after not having, the greatest start to the season, losing some of her minutes and, her shots and looks and all that. Carriana Woods 14, Edwards 10, McDonald 10, Johnson 8, and even on an off shooting night for McDonald, the Wildcats still pull out the win.
Yeah, we said a couple of people were on double-double watch, right?
Yeah.
Nobody got there. The closest was McDonald with 8 boards and 10 points, 5 of 13 shooting. But, man, Kayla White is my star of the game. But if I had to give a second one, it's got to be Chariot Johnson, right?
Yeah, those
freshman off the bench, gave you key minutes. She, at one point, was the highest scorer in the game in the second quarter.
Yeah, she was. I was very impressed by her performance. I was very proud of her performance. True freshman. Was looking for an opportunity, got it, and took it. Confidence is there. Just got to make sure her shooting's more consistent. Did a good job on defense. I really don't have a key, negative to take away from her other than just making sure those shots are going down consistently.
And here are the final scoring totals for Alcorn State, just to run through them. Brown had 24, 14 boards, 4 assists, 4 steals, 3 blocks. Just a ridiculous performance. White had 14 points on 6 of 14 shooting, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 steals, and a block. Cheatham had 7, McAlfee 5, Backus and Aika Palor had 3, Wright had 2, Ford and Henderson did not score. And outside of Brown and White, the offense was kind of lacking for Alcorn State, and at times when the Wildcats were able to shut those players down, that's when they run on those long runs.
Yeah, Brown had an excellent game, and White had an excellent game, both playing 32 and 35 minutes. But, you know, the problem is you can't have your, you know, it's very hard to win a game unless you have an outright, you know, historic performance if you only have one player really scoring the ball consistently, which is why the Wildcats eventually won this game.
I think if there's anything negative to take away that Coach Creighton will want to work on this week in practice, it is that for long stretches of the third quarter and a little bit of the fourth quarter, they just kind of fell off. They didn't score for long stretches, 4 and 5 minute stretches. They led by 19. Alcorn State came back, made it an 8-7 point game at one point. 7 is as close as they got. But it's still a little concerning because against the team where you're not up by 19 points, like a Grambling or a Southern, or even next week against Alabama State and Alabama A&M, those kinds of teams are not going to let you get that big of a lead. So falling off like that is going to be disastrous in those situations. But not to take anything away from the win tonight for the Wildcats.
Yeah, they just got to make sure that they keep on the offensive pressure and the offensive gas.
That'll be it for us here from Moore Gymnasium. For CatEye Network Director Eugene Robinson, producer Darian McCaskill, outside East Bryce Ronoski and Brian Harvey. My analyst today was Henson White, and on behalf of him and our entire student-run broadcast crew here at Moore Gymnasium, thank you so much for watching this presentation of Bethune-Cookman University Athletics on the CatEye Network. We will see you in 2 weeks for more basketball, but tonight, 9 p.m. ESPN2, Wildcats against the Alcorn State Braves on the men's side. Tune in and show out. We'll see you next time. Hail Wildcats.